Right, listen up. My name is Jeff, and we're about to embark on an incredible journey into the heart of one of the most vibrant, diverse, and untamed lands on Earth, India. This place is a true powerhouse of nature, a sprawling canvas painted with dense jungles, towering mountains, and arid deserts. India is home to some of the world's most incredible wildlife, but beneath this stunning beauty lies a harsh reality. Many of these magnificent species, creatures that have roamed these lands for millennia, are now fighting for their very survival, standing on the brink of extinction. It's a silent battle, fought every single day in the shadows of our modern world. This isn't just about admiring beautiful animals from a distance. This is about survival, not just for them, but for the delicate balance of the entire planet. Conservation isn't just a buzzword, it's a critical mission, a lifeline we throw to these species. It's about understanding that every single creature, from the mightiest tiger to the smallest reptile, plays a vital role in the health of our world. When one piece is removed, the entire puzzle weakens. Losing them would be like tearing a page out of the book of life, a story that can never be rewritten. So today, we're going to get up close and personal. We're not just going to look at statistics. We're going to look into the eyes of these animals, understand their struggles, and see the raw, unfiltered truth of their fight. We'll explore the front lines of conservation, where dedicated people are putting everything on the line to turn the tide. This is a story of resilience, of hope, and of the urgent need for action. It's a call to arms for every single one of us. Let's get to it. We're starting with a true icon, an animal that embodies power, grace, and the untamed spirit of the wild, the Bengal tiger. As India's national animal, this magnificent predator is woven into the very fabric of the country's culture and mythology. Seeing one in its natural habitat, moving silently through the tall grass, is an experience that stays with you forever. It's a primal feeling, a reminder of nature's raw and breathtaking power. But this king of the jungle is wearing a heavy crown, and its kingdom is shrinking. The roar of the tiger is becoming fainter, a whisper in the wind, and we have to ask ourselves why. The threats are relentless, coming from multiple fronts like a coordinated attack. The biggest enemy: poachers. These ruthless criminals hunt the tiger for its skin, bones, and other body parts, feeding a black market that has no regard for life. Every tiger lost to a snare or a bullet is a devastating blow to the population. But the threat isn't just direct violence, it's also a slow creeping invasion. We're talking about habitat loss. As India's human population grows, forests are cleared for agriculture, industry, and infrastructure. The tiger's territory is being carved up, fragmented into smaller and smaller islands of wilderness, making it harder for them to hunt, find mates, and raise their young. But in the face of this adversity, there is hope. Incredible conservation efforts are underway. Organizations like Project Tiger have been working tirelessly for decades, creating protected reserves, deploying anti-poaching patrols, and working with local communities to foster a world where humans and tigers can coexist. It's a brutal, exhausting fight, often with heartbreaking setbacks. But every new cub born in the wild, every poacher apprehended is a small victory in this monumental battle. This is a war for survival, and for the Bengal tiger, defeat is not an option. It's a symbol we cannot afford to lose. Now we journey west, to the dry, deciduous forests of Gujarat, a place that holds a truly unique treasure. This is the last remaining stronghold of the Asiatic lion. Unlike their African cousins who roam vast savannas, these lions have adapted to a life in a relatively small, protected area, the Gir forest. For centuries, this was their kingdom, but hunting and habitat loss pushed them to the absolute edge. By the early 20th century, only a handful of these magnificent beasts remained. Their story is a stark reminder of how quickly we can push a species to the point of no return. It was a crisis point, a moment where they could have vanished forever. The survival of the Asiatic lion is one of India's greatest conservation success stories, but the fight is far from over. The entire world population of these lions lives in this one location. Imagine that. It makes them incredibly vulnerable. A single disease outbreak, a large forest fire, or any other catastrophe could wipe them out completely. This is what conservationists call putting all your eggs in one basket. The pressure to protect this single population is immense, and the stakes couldn't be higher. It's a delicate balancing act, managing the forest and the lions within it while ensuring their long-term genetic health. To combat this vulnerability, there are ongoing efforts to establish a second home for the lions, a process known as translocation. But it's a complex and challenging task, filled with political and ecological hurdles. In the meantime, the heroes on the ground in gear work around the clock. They are the forest guards, the veterinarians, the lion trackers or pages who know these animals intimately. They monitor the prides, treat injuries, and work to mitigate conflict with the local cattle herders. Their dedication is the lifeline for this last pride, ensuring that the roar of the Asiatic lion continues to echo through these ancient forests. From the king of beasts, we move to one of nature's most intelligent and emotionally complex creatures, the Indian elephant. These gentle giants are incredible engineers of the ecosystem, shaping the very forests they live in. Watching a herd move through the jungle, communicating with low rumbles that vibrate through the ground, is to witness a deep, ancient society at work. The bond between a mother and her calf is one of the strongest in the animal kingdom. They are sentient beings with complex social structures, and they are facing a crisis created by our ever-expanding world. Their path is getting harder to walk. The primary threat to these magnificent animals is habitat fragmentation. Imagine their ancient migratory routes, corridors they have used for thousands of years, suddenly being sliced in two by a new highway, a railway line, or a sprawling farm. The elephants are cut off from vital sources of food and water, and their vast territories are shrinking into isolated pockets. This confinement not only affects their physical health, but also leads to increased stress and genetic isolation. They are effectively being imprisoned within the remnants of their former homes, a slow and silent siege that is pushing them to their limits. This fragmentation inevitably leads to one of the most challenging issues in conservation human-wildlife conflict. When elephants find their traditional paths blocked, they are forced to venture into human-dominated landscapes in search of sustenance. They raid crops, damage property, and can pose a danger to human lives, leading to fear and retaliation from local communities. It's a tragic clash of worlds where there are no real winners. Finding solutions, like creating dedicated elephant corridors and using innovative, humane deterrents, is crucial. It's about re-establishing boundaries and fostering respect, ensuring a future where these giants can continue their ancient journey. We now turn our attention from the dense jungles to the open grasslands and arid plains of the subcontinent. Here, a magnificent bird, one of the heaviest flying birds in the world, is performing a desperate dance against extinction. This is the Great Indian Bustard. With its long legs and ostrich-like appearance, it's a true spectacle of the grasslands. It is a symbol of this unique and often overlooked ecosystem. But this ghost of the grasslands is fading fast. Its numbers have plummeted so drastically that it is now listed as critically endangered. We are talking about a species that could vanish within our lifetime. The Great Indian Bustard faces a barrage of modern threats. Its grassland habitat has been decimated, converted for agriculture, overgrazed by livestock, and fragmented by infrastructure. But one of the most lethal and insidious threats comes from above power lines. These birds have poor frontal vision and are heavy, making it difficult for them to spot and avoid the web of wires crisscrossing their habitat. Collisions with power lines are a leading cause of mortality for the remaining adult population. Every bird lost is a catastrophic blow to a species with an already slow reproductive rate, pushing it ever closer to the edge. The situation is so dire that it calls for urgent emergency measures. Conservationists are in a race against time. Efforts are focused on identifying and protecting the last remaining critical habitats, working with power companies to mark power lines with diverters to make them more visible, and engaging local communities to become guardians of the birds. A captive breeding program has also been initiated, a last-ditch effort to build a safety net population. This is the front line of extinction, a desperate battle to save a species from disappearing from the face of the earth. The fate of the Great Indian Bustard hangs by a thread. For our final chapter, we delve into the aquatic world, into the great river systems of India. Here lives a creature that looks like it swam right out of the age of dinosaurs. This is the Gariel, a critically endangered crocodile with a uniquely long, thin snout lined with over 100 razor-sharp teeth. This specialized snout is perfectly adapted for catching fish, its primary food source. They are not typically a threat to humans, preferring to spend their days basking on sandy riverbanks or gliding silently through the water. The Gariel is a living fossil, a relic from an ancient time, and a key indicator of the health of our rivers. But the rivers that have been its home for millions of years are changing, and the Gariel is paying the price. River pollution is a massive threat. Industrial effluents, agricultural runoff, and untreated sewage are poisoning the water, killing the fish that the Gariel depends on. This isn't just about food. It's about the entire ecosystem being thrown out of balance. Furthermore, the construction of dams and barrages has fragmented their river habitats, altering water flows and destroying the pristine sandbanks they need for basking and nesting. Their entire world is being systematically dismantled. Fishing practices also pose a grave danger. Gharials often become entangled in fishing nets and drown. Though they are not the intended target, they become collateral damage in the quest for fish. Conservation efforts are focused on cleaning up the rivers, protecting nesting sites, and working with fishing communities to promote safer fishing practices. Captive breeding programs are also playing a crucial role, rearing young gharials in protected environments before releasing them back into the wild to bolster the dwindling population. Saving the gharial is about more than saving a single species, it's about saving our sacred rivers. We've journeyed across India and looked into the eyes of some of its most vulnerable inhabitants. From the regal tiger to the ancient gharial, their stories are all different, yet they share a common urgent theme, a desperate fight for survival in a world that is rapidly changing around them. These aren't just animals, they are a vital part of India's natural heritage, a legacy of biodiversity that enriches our entire planet. Their plight is a direct reflection of our own impact on the world. Their survival is intrinsically linked to our own wisdom and our willingness to act before it's too late. The challenge is immense, but it is not insurmountable. Hope lies in the tireless work of the conservationists, the scientists, and the local communities on the front lines. But they cannot do it alone. The power to create meaningful change lies with every single one of us. You can support organizations dedicated to wildlife protection. You can make conscious choices as a consumer, and most importantly, you can raise your voice. Educate yourself, talk to your friends and family, and demand that the protection of our natural world becomes a global priority. Every action, no matter how small, contributes to a larger wave of change. This is our shared responsibility. This is our moment to decide what kind of world we want to leave behind. Together, we can help protect India's incredible biodiversity for future generations. We can ensure that the roar of the tiger, the trumpeting of the elephant, and the silent glide of the gharial are not just memories in a history book, but a living, breathing reality for centuries to come. The fight is on, and it's a fight we must win. Thank you for joining me on this journey.